get things started here. Hello, everybody. I'm EnviroBoy. You can call me Scott. Gonna play some blueprints today. It's been a long, difficult week, and I feel like I have ever-waning sanity, so I figured maybe just running around in an ever-changing house and trying to figure out what the heck is even the purpose of it all would be a good way to match the energy that this week has provided me. Insanity begets insanity, and so we walk around not understanding a single doggone thing about what's going on here. Frankly, it's been long enough since I last played and recorded this game that I don't quite know exactly what's going on. We'll stick with it and just keep things alive, I guess. I should pull out my notes page if I have one. Don't mind the clanking and clumping of things as I pull out my notes pages and all that kind of stuff and pretend like I'm good at what I do or I understand anything about what I'm doing. We have notes. So many notes. Multiple note pages here. We go around. Could I have paused there? Probably. But I didn't, so that's just that's the way it went. Open the door. Get on the floor. Everybody do the dinosaur. You're gonna have the storeroom, the pantry, or the bedroom. Pantry, where there's endless amounts of food. When we say endless amounts of food, I mean like a banana and nothing else there. It seems like a pretty poorly stocked pantry, one that's not going to be all that helpful for most of us in most situations. The storeroom can give us stuff, but it is a dead end. And then there's the bedroom. Whenever you enter this room, gain 2 footsteps, and that's great and all, and kind of neutralizes, and sometimes you can find a good item in there, but frankly, I feel like bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush, as they say, so we'll just go ahead and take this and see what happens. Perhaps it will lead to something grand, like the grabbing of a shovel, so we can dig up a bunch of crap, and then we can also grab the gem, and that's pretty neat in general, so it ended up paying off for us there. So now we'll open the next door. A hallway, always a good choice. Continuing on, giving ourselves a couple options, plus getting another key is always great. And then we can open up this doorway and we have the den, closet, and the pantry. Going for the den would make a lot of sense here, so we can have the gem available to us when we eventually need it. Everyone likes jewels, especially when purchasing rooms in their own homes. This is a beautiful representation, this game, of what it means to be a proper capitalist. You need money and jewels to make the best home, and everything else is just kind of left up to chance. What year you were born, or what the rich people at Blackstone have decided to do as far as manipulating housing markets and this stuff goes. But can't say that, otherwise you'll end up falling 7 stories after being defenestrated on accident or something. It's hard to say exactly how those things go because I'm not rich enough to participate in such activities. So instead we'll just make a bedroom. See what that does for us. Can go into our bedroom. So that way we don't lose money, and maybe we'll get around the chapel. But the chapel's a good fallback in case there's anything. Search around here and we find ourselves a key, which is always nice. We do like the keys, and will eventually come in very handy as we continue on. Going through this one, we have a whole lot of neutral, not a whole lot of things. We can go to the corridor, it's always unlocked, and that's kind of a nice thing. Better than the spare hallway, which is really just sort of a waste of time and energy and an exercise in hopelessness. The parlor or the commissary. Commissary would be nice if we had more money, but it's time and time again has proven it's probably better to just have the gems that the parlor can give us. I wonder if we'll ever run out of puzzles in the parlor. Seems like we might potentially reach an end. I don't know that this game has an intelligent enough AI to come up with its own logic statements and stuff and figure them out eternally. It'll probably start recycling them, but that's not really a big deal considering there's no way we'll remember all of them. Only one box displays a truth statement. The gems are in the white box, and the gems are in the black box. So we can start thinking about this. So if the gems are in the black box, that would be true, and only one box displays a true statement. So seems like that one must be false, because inherently with these, we'll probably have two. Because if that one must be false. If it's in the white box, gems are in the black box. And I'm gonna be honest, my head's not wrapping myself around this one. If it's in the black box, and that one's true, then that one would have to be false. But that one would also, well, see, this is where it becomes a tautology, because if only one box displays a true statement. So if that, does it imply that in its own self is false statement? If this one's true, if it's in a white box, then that would make that one possibly false, and that one would have to be false. See, the thing is one of these two is false. And this, it creates a tautological situation. Because if only one box displays true statement, then like if then only one is true, then that makes this one false. But if these two are both true, well, that one's also, this one must necessarily always be false. Because it always, and then one of these is true and one of these is false. Gems are in the black box, gems are in the white box. This is a tricky one to try and figure out. And we'll sit here enumerating our thoughts, thinking out loud, so that you can sit here and laugh at the simple-minded nature of myself as I struggle to figure out what's probably a pretty straightforward thing. If the gems are in the white box, and that one's true of itself, then that one would be false. But then that one, if that one is false, then it's also true, because then only one. But if this one's true, then it's also false. It seems like it's a 50-50 chance between whether these two are true or not, because only one box displays a true statement. The gems are in the black box. There's not a rule I'm forgetting. A fresh memory, we both spent played some years back involving these different colors. I decided for this letter, there will always be at least one box which displays only true statements. There will always be at least one box which displays only false statements. Only one box is a prize within, the other two are always empty. So we know that one of these must be true and one of these must be false. Unless, wait, hold on a second. Unless those are both false, making this the only one that's true, and that leaves this one. So it must be the gems are in this one. Hot diggity, we figured that one out. The blue gems from the blue box. And we can sit here pridefully boasting about the mental prowess of our super strong and intelligent brains. It's always a great thing. You can have the drawing room here, and needs a gem. We have plenty of gems at this point, but this one also continues and keeps the run alive. Which is great, because other than this one, we only have the one pathway through the hallway there. It also closes off the loop to the chapel, so we don't have to lose any money. We have yet to figure out what's going on with this stupid room. We've got all of these things here. Something small, the 8 dates, crack 8 safes. So we have that. We've got, we must find a date, which presumably means it's a 4-digit code, unless it, because that would be the only way to make sure it stays clear and understandable. Otherwise it would be, is it 6 or is it 8? We don't know. No one can know. We need to figure out a date, and certainly there must be something to do with the paintings here, which we've sort of discussed, but we can't possibly figure out and understand what the deal is here, and Mr. Man isn't revealing his secrets. He's got the time, got the phone, and a complete and utter lack of secrets elsewhere. Just drawing things and doesn't provide any assistance to us whatsoever. So we'll just continue on our search and figure out what we can find. Our hands are tried unless we redraw and see what happens with that. We can have the gymnasium, utility closet. The gymnasium seems as though the most useful. Lose 2 steps anytime you enter. A small price to pay to have 2 possible doors, and we have a locked digital door. Proving things are gonna be nice and difficult for us. We could do the garage and gain access to the outdoors, and we'll do this and grab ourselves the keys out of it all. The door is still unopenable at this point, but it provides us at least some options. So our hands now being tied, we'll continue back the way from which we came. We must now decide if we wish to spend money or loop around, and perhaps spending the money will be the most prudent approach to things, so we can continue on and get ourselves a key and try other doors and like infinite keys, so many keys, a bunch of dead ends. Can at least have the breaker box to gain access to a couple things, and at least access to the garage, but that in turn would functionally end the run, and that's disappointing. But all of these end the run, and we can't really do anything. So we can at least do the breaker box and see what we can find in the basement and stuff. We can turn the gymnasium off, darkroom leave on, the garage turn that on. Keycard entry system is off, though that may not help us without the security room. And now we must figure out and remember how to do this. And it goes on and on. And we struggle the reds because I am a simple man, as evidenced by the one puzzle that we failed to get. Get all of this stuff going, and we can take our leave of the utility closet and see what else is around here. There's very little else to be gained or gleaned. We can decide, but actually save us a lot of time and energy to go this way. If we wish to go outside, we can see what our free thing is there, and we have no basement key yet, but perhaps there's still something to be gained from over here. A record short run compared to most that last multiple episodes, and so we find ourselves in an awkward situation where the things have changed dramatically from what they usually are. The shelter protects you from the negative effects of the next 3 red rooms drafted. The hovel, special floor plans now cost additional. Feed instead of gems, a little late for that one. The trading post, items for trade. Perhaps trading post is the best option for us. We can come in here and see what there is for us to gain. A little too dangerous to pick up. Sounds like the whinings of a wussy person. I'm afraid of a little danger in order to make something happen. It's interactable. It seems like perhaps we could do something with it later. We can go to the trading post and see what we have here. We could trade our shovel for the compass, though it doesn't clearly explain what that would do for us. We'll say no trade. So, no trade. We cannot... okay, we'll trade and see what we can continue for the coupon book. Trade it and see what if we... sledgehammer, trade it. Compass again, trade. And just continue to trade and see what we can get. Coupon book, and it will continue to just loop us around and do largely nothing for us. We'll trade for the sledgehammer and see if that achieves anything for us in any of these other locations. We can go around and check out the basement down there and see what that does for us, and likely nothing, and we'll probably have to end the run because we haven't turned the security system to providing or to leaving doors open when the power's down, so it doesn't accomplish much for us. Can try to use the basement key, but it won't be allowed. That's all there is to it, so we can probably go ahead and call it a day for this one and start another run only halfway through this episode. A strange turn of events, the opposite of how it normally works for us. Interesting, yet acceptable. Namely because we don't really have a choice. Save and continue. We'll start a new run, and it'll be fun and interesting. Continue on and pretend that there isn't a creeping sense of boredom and dread over this game, as though perhaps we'll never accomplish it. We've been playing this game so long that who could even remember what the point of all of this is? We presumably want to gain access through the antechamber, but there's so many things to figure out and so many ongoing puzzles that who could even understand what we're supposed to be doing? We could do the guest room, or we could do the bedroom or the spare room. Maybe just do the bedroom. Come here and see what we've got. We could do the parlor, do the den. Give ourselves some doors. And come over here and we'll end up with a corridor or pantry, and we'll do the corridor. So we've got all kinds of options here. If we go to this bedroom, we can find a top hat that disappointingly doesn't become part of our purview of possessions. So instead we just continue on. We can go to the hallway. It seems like a fitting pursuit. A couple different doorway options combined with gaining a key. As you can see, the security room, always helpful. Be a good one for us to gain. Don't have a gem, and so we'll be forced to do something else. You could do the chapel and at least provide options for the door. But if we have multiples going up, perhaps the reading nook will be the way to do it. Go get ourselves a key in a second. See what's in here in the commissary, the storeroom, or the parlor. If we do the parlor, it helps keep the run alive, and so maybe we'll do that one. And we can come back around here, grab our key, and see what else there is to gain from going through this door down here. Hopefully there'll be something interesting. We have a library, a storeroom. If it's a dead end anyway, we can grab ourselves a storeroom, having already gained pretty much everything that the library has to offer. Might as well just come in here and see what we can find, and just try to swallow our disappointment with the fact that we didn't get any of the fun extras that time. It's always a disappointment when you think you're gonna get something super cool and you can't. Like when you're a child and parents are taking you to the store and you're pointedly eyeing the candy aisle, or back in the old school days when they would put the Pokemon cards right by the checkout counter so you could get a little package, you know, in the good old days when it's like a little booster pack would cost you 99 cents and there weren't scalpers making everything the worst thing in the world. So you could, as a child, you could have the chance to get that sweet, sweet Charizard. Those days are long gone, as is my innocence, and replaced with it are nothing more than depression, midlife crises, and never creeping sense of dread over the inevitability of time and our mortal ends. A box with a false statement contains the gems. The statement on the black box is true, and the black box is not empty. So that would mean that one is saying there's something in the black box. Statement on the black box is true. Box with a false statement contains the gems. So it can't be in this one. Because if it contains the gems, it can't be its own, right? The statement on the black box is true. If we assume that one's true, and then this one's true, then this one would have to be false. Black box is not empty, so that works. If the black box, if that one's true, if it's not empty, if that means there's something in it, then a box with a false statement contains the gems, and we would have to say that that it creates another tautology. It has to be in blue, I would think, because it's the only false statement. 2 blue gems from the single blue box. So the excuse me. So the pattern continues, and so we shall continue with our lives. We can now afford the security room, and it'll keep the run alive, and we can never run into that stupid problem, the stupid doorway, or the stupid key card doors being a problem for us. We can set the protocol, center, key card system, security doors, key card system settings, security level. We want set the security level, we want that to be low. So there'll be more. And then there are fewer doors. And then the offline mode. We want the offline mode to be unlocked. We can confirm that setting, and then we can go back. And it doesn't do much for us until we can turn off the system, but at the very least it puts us in a better position to have that potentially happen for us. And we can continue on with our thing. We can the laundry room and pretend to be wealthy, and we can go to the courtyard and get ourselves a couple dig spots, which is useless now because this isn't the same run, but we could actually continue our thing, and that seems like a pretty good idea, so we'll just continue that. Would have been nice if they'd provided us with a shovel in here, but I guess a hammer will also suffice. Shatter padlocks and locked trunks, and that's always a fun thing. And one, because it means you get some cool, sick items, and that's always great. And the other reason that's great is because you can swing a hammer around, and that's cool too. We like breaking things. It's like one of them rage rooms, which frankly would be nice for me these days, and just the chance to break things. It's a rare occurrence for me in my life personally to feel the urge to bust something and frag something a good one, but the urge has existed recently because the frustrations exist in my life. And not to pull back the curtain too much, but if anyone wishes to fund the opportunity for me to break things and have fun with that, and that would be welcome. You could do that. No obligation, though. I can instead just continue to be a responsible adult that doesn't do such things. And find ourselves once again facing difficult choices as the room opportunities continue to try to block me off from doing stuff, because this game really decided to want to frag me a good one constantly, and now we're just sitting here facing constant disappointment and frustrations. Could get the salt shaker and metal detectors. There's the shovel. More money than what we have right now. We can think about coming to that one later, and might as well use the keys. Use it if you got it. Burn them if you got them. We can do the chapel. Or we can do the spare room. Spare room, either one takes us to the same place, and since we've activated the foundation, we should presumably be able to go to the spare room and just go across. We don't have a lot to gain from doing the chapel here, so if we do the spare room and just make our way across, we can see what kind of situationship we can find ourselves in. Not to be confused with the situationship that often makes things uncomfortable for people. And tragically, we have no gems, so we must create ourselves a dead end. I'll do my best to not cry about it in this situation, but frankly, it's a disappointing thing. Get ourselves the planetarium, and not really anything for us to gain in the planetarium, so we'll just head backwards and swallow the disappointment and pretend like I am glad that things are panning out the way they are, even though, truth be told, I'd much rather just rage quit and start a fresh game. And we can continue on up here. Seems like the prudent move, going through here to go up rather than immediately spending all of our stuff to go down below and open up a locked room with the laboratory. It would have been nice in conjunction with the boiler room, but alas, we don't have that. And we do the chapel while we have to spend money. It gets us a couple options, and I feel like that's probably a reasonable thing to do. Code check, the closet, the observatory. Observatory will keep it alive, but we can't afford that, so let's do the closet and see if we can get ourselves some items real quick. Reroll, always good. And a gem, so that perhaps in the future, disappointment won't be quite as much of a guarantee for us. Now, it's time also, I'm realizing I haven't been paying attention to the pictures of places and stuff, so we have to be paying attention to that now that we're getting higher up in our stuff. And have the workshop, which would be nice. Dark room. The pantry. Perhaps we can go with the workshop and see what sorts of combinations we'll be able to grab. And we can grab the handle, the broken lever, and it's unlikely that there's anything else that we can make at this time, but we can always check it and see here. And broken lever with a sledgehammer and something else that we don't have right now, which is understandable. And so the door is locked, and so we shall spend the rest of our money going backwards. And now we begin the arduous trek going back and wishing that things had played out a little differently. But what else is new in a world designed to keep the good men and women and anything else that we identify as, because identity is a self-determined thing, and whose right is it to tell anyone else how to identify? But we press on as human beings, ignoring that I've lost the train of thought that I was trying to follow. But we come in here and could go to the wine cellar and get ourselves some stuff, or we could use those, or we could get the breaker box, which is kind of nice, but perhaps the wine cellar is the way to go. Get some gems, and because we have a couple more doors, and just see what that does for us to continue things on. Passageway is nice, but it really only gets us one extra door, and it doesn't help us a whole lot. So if we come here, and we can come in here and see what we can find. Our 3 gems. The house of Grifferin family thing, and we can grab the battery, and it can probably most likely be combined with some of the other things that we have. So it's great that we have the workshop up there and we can go do stuff, but perhaps it'd be best if we could try to find ourselves a place with a key, so that way we can make something more of it when we get up there. The boudoir gets us more rooms and more choices of rooms. We can come in here and grab ourselves some goodies. The dice of the gambler, the fun mystical item that allows one to put fate into the hands of the fateful, or something like that. Not really a sensible thing that I just said, but that's fine. We can spend 2 and get the passageway, get a couple of doors. It's always nice, and keep walking. This is a labyrinthian home that has many closed off options. Dark room connecting things, the weight room connecting things as well. And perhaps we do this one and leave it as an option just in case, because mathematically trying to get back to that workshop, that might still be a better option for us, and we continue on and figure things out. We have figured out very few things in this run, but if we do this one, we could get some more gems in the courtyard, which would probably be a pretty good thing. It seems nice. Although the weight room, now that I'm looking at it, doesn't connect to anything because it's the only way to get to the foundation. But it's probably fine. It probably doesn't matter. We could do the dark room. Perhaps the dark room is the move. As much as we like gems in each green room, we only have one green room. Whereas if we do this one, we can at least kind of hope for the best. Kind of come in here, and things dark in the dark room. Go figure. And we open this door, and honestly, it matters very little. It's going to tell us nothing, so we can just grab whatever one. Seems like it would be the best decision to not spend too much in the way of resources to figure these out, and we can come down to this one. And our cat comes in here screeching and wishing for attention, because that's what she is, and she does. We have the servant's quarter plus 1 key for each bedroom in our house. Could get us a couple keys. Our kitty comes up to join us. She's going to be in the way of everything and be frustrated when I don't do exactly what she wants me to do, even though it is cryptic and unclear what she wants me to do. The option to connect to our corridor, grab a key for each bedroom, which is 2. So we could get 2 keys, which would actually be pretty helpful, as trading 1 gem for 2 keys doesn't seem like a horrible trade, if you ask me, and so we'll do it. Grab ourselves some keys if we come in here. 1, 2. Counts as its own key. Cannot ring the bells. There are 12 major keys. Does this refer to music, or does it refer to the keys that go to special doors? Like the silver key and everything, and basement key and stuff. Hartley, I know we spoke often of this day, and I don't think there's anything I can say of the past 40 years that I haven't already attempted to tell you numerous times in the past. Half-stated gratitude always interrupted with tactful and polite repudiations from you. I'd always known this final letter could give me the perfect opportunity to finally express myself, uninterrupted by you and unfettered by social graces, but I don't feel the inclination to say aloud what has always been unsaid between us. I love you. I love you so, dear. With my passing, I release you from your post in service to the Sinclair family and implore you to live the remainder of your years on your own terms, as scary and unfamiliar of a concept as that may be to you. Besides, I think a more junior valet would be better suited to meet the needs of a young Master Simon. To that end, if you wish, you may stay on long enough to oversee the training and establishment of your successor in their post, but as soon as he or she has the lay of the land, my instructions for you to quit must be satisfied. Ignoring that I imagine your objections might be after reading this, I have decided to leave the lake house in Trinsdale to you and your family. My lawyers have all the details of the gift and will be contacting you shortly about the particulars. For the past 4 decades, you have served willingly as the subject and victim to my many whims, games, and riddles, and so rest assured, unlike my nephew, you will not be put to yet another challenge to prove yourself worthy in this matter. The house is yours without strings or stipulations. I had for a time gleefully entertained the notion of employing Anne as the house manager of your new residence, but I knew the humor of such a prank would be entirely lost on you, to say nothing of her. Until we meet again, my friend, Herbert. Cute, a touching final note between servant and master. Belongings left behind. A chair, a bed, a room under a cupboard under the stairs. And so we see the final resting place of her servant. We got keys. And with that, it's probably time for me to say thank you so much for joining. I love and appreciate every single one of you indulging me in my pontifications as I sit here and play games and wonder what the crap I'm doing with my life and why it is that I've so eagerly committed to doing this altered tone of voice that is gradually taking over my life as I use it for more and more things in my own life. It's a strange thing, but it's also fun and gives me joy, so we'll do that, and one day it'll be normal for everyone. We see something, oh, there's something, we'll leave off with one more thing. The final advice is always look everywhere for things. Rummage through trash. And I'll read this at the beginning of the next one, but the advice is look through trash. You never know. One man's trash is another man's treasure. There you go. Okay, love you. Bye. We'll have to read this next time. See exactly what it says. Probably something important. And we'll see what that does for us. It seems like it's got something important for us. I mean, it is discussing Mrs. Babbage, which I'm assuming is the founder of Babbage's, and that's kind of a neat 90s bit of life. Maybe more 80s.